Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks.
Well, but this thing is a work in progress.
That's right. Perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. Alongside me, as always, is our esteemed host, Tarek. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, as always, except for the weeks when I'm not here. This week I'm here, so we're right.
That's true. Welcome back. Welcome back. And then, of course, from on high, he visits us. Football Jesus, how are you?
Feeling blessed. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling refreshed. Can't wait to get into this week.
All right. The one that draws up the plays, the QB coach, Jessica, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing really, really good. I think I did pretty well in my picks last week and won another week of fantasy, so can't complain.
See how you did. And then, of course, my little insider, Samuel, how you doing tonight?
Doing good.
That's good. That's good. You
Let's
ready?
puppets.
You ready?
Oh, yeah, so.
You ready to talk some football?
Yeah.
That's right. Your puppets can talk football too when it comes time to talk football, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Get ready to talk. So.
Well, it's been an interesting week. I think a lot of games went the way we thought they would. However, there was a few exceptions, such as the Bills losing to whoever the heck they lost to last week.
The Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos. Like,
Yep.
Still that unbelievable. It was hard for me to remember. I gotta ask at this point. I mean, has their window closed on winning a Super Bowl? Or what can they do to get back on track?
Sorry, I just played this for fun puppets.
So
Dick.
I kind of have a question for your question, because is this about the Bills or is this about the Broncos? Because this is the second game the Broncos have won that statistically they should not have won, because they also beat the Chiefs a few weeks ago. So I'm looking at the schedule on my phone here, and their Bills are winning most of the games they should have, including 48-20 against the Dolphins, who are arguably one of the better teams, or could be. So I don't. I'm looking
They're
at
also losing. They're also lost to the Jets.
Yes, and they're playing the Jets Sunday. So
they lost to the Patriots.
I don't really have an answer. It's gonna be the next couple. They got the Jets, the Eagles, and the Chiefs. I think in those next three games, I think that'll kind of let us know. Because if they beat the Jets like they should, then that's good. If they beat the Eagles, I mean and the Chiefs, then I think that's. It all depends on their performance to me in the next couple games. I don't know.
I think the answer is they're definitely not going to make it to the Super Bowl. It's not that they couldn't pull out some miracle, but they're not the best team in their division or their conference. And even in the last several weeks, a lot of sports analysts have been asking what they're going to do to fix the issue on the offense, because the defense is doing its best to keep up and the offense is just stalling, and Josh Allen has an insane amount of turnovers. They're not clicking on offense. So where they are more than midway through the season, the regular season, that is, I don't think there's any way they could suddenly become the best team. And I actually had mentioned to a few, I don't remember if it was any of you, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Denver won that game. And sure enough, not because Denver's great, but because Buffalo has really looked disjointed.
Sam alluded to their Super Bowl window. And in my mind, this is like that first real nice day in a brand new year where you crack the windows a little bit to get that fresh air in, but it's not so much that it cools down your house so much. Their playoff, I'm saying playoff, not Super Bowl, playoff hopes are that small crack in that window at this point, and they have to play perfection football from here on out. And I personally do not think they have that in them this year. So I'm going to say their window is pretty much closed.
To be honest, if I had to gauge it, I'd say their window has been closed for the past 2 years. Quite frankly, in the past couple of years, Diggs has been unhappy with the situation. He has vocalized his displeasure with how things are going. I'm pretty sure he wants out of there. And without a good receiving core around him, Josh Allen has proven to be ineffective. His first few years in the league, he had pretty blasé receivers around him. He's not going to be able to elevate those guys to a high level. And right now they're putting everything on his shoulders, even more so than they have in the past. And you can see what's happening. He's throwing more turnovers. He's not getting them over the hump like he used to. I feel like it's been closed. I feel like last year was a good sign of it. They made the playoffs, but they immediately lost. And it's going to be more of the same this year. They got an extremely difficult couple games coming up for the rest of the season. They might not make the playoffs this year, let alone the Super Bowl. So even with the change at offensive coordinator, without a huge step in the right direction, without next year drafting the right guys to be around Josh Allen to help him out, I see them as not competing for another Super Bowl for the next 4 or 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You heard him. He's like, oh yeah.
Speaking of competing, let's take a look at the competition going on with the pop panel. And look, I have dropped out of first place.
Because of Brady versus football Jesus.
I've been saving this line all day because I looked into the standings before we started recording.
And Plaza Jessica.
Everyone knows me as Football Jesus on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So I would like to pass a nickname on to the person who is currently sharing first place with me. And that's Hail Mary Magdalene.
So what does that mean if I'm not religious?
What's that?
How does that go if I'm not religious? Is there
this nickname was given to me. This has been bestowed upon you. So as long as we're tied, it's Football Jesus and Hail Mary Magdalene. So
well, we won't be tied long, I can tell you that.
No,
yeah, that's right. I'm going to take you by 2 games this week.
I'll be leapfrogging you guys here shortly.
I'll just keep the bottom warm.
Hey, you're catching up, man. You're 2 games behind me now, and
every building has a good foundation, Tarek, and I was that foundation last season, so
that's okay.
As the tall, skinny guy, that's not usually me.
Really,
you're right.
3 games out of the lead.
Oh yeah. Our boss is going to lose. Oh yeah. What's this him?
Hey, should we get to the games of the week?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Well, let's start with football. Jesus.
Football Jesus.
Let's get that gospel.
Well, I hate to, rewind the track a little bit, but we're going to go back to about 5 minutes in the past. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets for my game of the week. Now, this game stuck out to me immediately after we saw the results of the Bills game last week. I think this is a make or break game for both of these teams. The Bills, obviously, nowhere near where I don't think any football pundit thought they were at the beginning of this season, currently sitting at 500 going into week 11. And the Jets, same thing. No one expected them with Aaron Rodgers and all their free agent acquisitions to be sitting under 500 at week 11. No, obviously you can't predict injuries, but with Aaron Rodgers and whatever voodoo magic he's practicing in a cave, he's throwing the ball around. He's walking without crutches. And as someone who has had an Achilles injury that required surgery to repair, that's not an easy thing to do as soon as he has done. So if he is truly going to come back this season and give the Jets a chance, the Jets need to win this game. Now, let's talk about football. the Buffalo Bills have all of the tools to compete. Their old offensive coordinator took James Cook, who was supposed to be their starting running back, out of the game for essentially a quarter after an opening drive fumble. And that's not how you instill confidence into your players. The Jets, however, went blow for blow in their game last week, which kind of a snooze fest. But Zach Wilson on the last throw of the game essentially handed the win to the Jets, but one of his own players batted the ball out of the air when one of their other players was camped directly beneath it. So where do I see this game going? I think this is going to be essentially the most watched game of the week because I think both of these teams are playing under expectations, but I think they're both going to come into this week exceeding those expectations. I think Zach Wilson is going to overperform. I think he's going to finally get his touchdown numbers over his interception numbers. I think Josh Allen's not going to throw the ball 100 miles an hour as receivers, causing interceptions and lackadaisically handing the ball and rolling it into his running back's stomach, causing more turnovers. So I have this game currently going the Bills' way, simply because I think they have a better quarterback in Josh Allen. I don't think he's having a great year. I think he's having an okay year. I think he's a good quarterback, but even good quarterbacks, as Sam alluded to, are indicative of the weapons around them. So I'm going with the Bills, but I think this is the make or break point for both of these teams in this season.
I am also going with the Bills here. I think that there were some easily identifiable issues that they had in the last several weeks, but last week especially, like how hard Josh Allen was throwing the ball. No one can catch that freaking ball. Like on the run, no one can catch that ball unless it's landing in your stomach. So I think that's one of the things that they come out and try to correct, just like the fumbles by Cook. I think they try to come out and they try and protect the ball a little bit better with that. My biggest concern here is that the Jets offensive line is trash, essentially. I think it's going to come down to Zach Wilson getting constantly rushed, and the Bills will pull out this win, but that doesn't mean that they are any kind of Super Bowl contender.
All right. So the Jets actually casting magic, actually doing magic. They're doing the voodoo. They're going to try and make it work. All the magic's going straight to Aaron Rodgers. It's not doing well enough. He taints the whole spell. It's not going to go down. Bills are coming out. They got the counter spells. It's in their home. They got the salt ring going around the stadium. It's going to cancel out everything. The Bills are going to come out. They're going to win. Going to be close. Buffalo.
Well, if anybody's going to have the salt, it's going to be Buffalo.
Well, they are tied.
They're tied.
Almost tied.
Oh, a joke. Hey, is that a joke?
Hey, who do you have winning this game?
I don't know what I
You
picked.
have the Buffalo Bills or the New York Jets?
I picked the Jets. I picked the Buffalo Bills.
Which one did he pick?
He picked Buffalo.
Okay. He said Jets first, and then he said the Bills. I didn't hear.
Yeah,
But they are tied.
they're
The
almost
Buffalo Jets are going to win.
Yeah, like almost. He's like serious.
Yeah. I think this is one of those games they just fired their offensive coordinator in Buffalo. They're going to have a little bit of a boost going into this. The offensive coordinator is going to want to prove something. I think they come out strong enough to win it, but not by a lot. Sauce Gardner's still going to follow Stephon Diggs around, so he's going to have Dalton Knox to throw it to, and Gabe Davis, who hasn't been putting up big numbers this year. But the Jets, they're going to struggle on offense, and I think Buffalo's just going to eke out a win in this one. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be the most watched game this week because you have Kansas City against the Eagles. So
Football Jesus picked it. That means it's the most watched.
I have the news from on high.
I see. Yeah, you're getting the message wrong. It's going to be one of the least amount of games watched.
Don't tell Dad he's wrong.
All right, let's get on to our next game of the week. The QB coach. What do you got drawn up for us?
Well,
you
it's
got
a
her name
Bengals
wrong.
versus the Ravens.
Well,
Her
he's
name's Hail Mary Magdalene.
so my game of the week this week was the Browns and the Steelers. I feel like every week is just another reshuffling of some crazy AFC North rivalry. But we'll take it. So the Browns and the Steelers, they're both kind of a bit of a mystery right now as to, other than the amazing defense on the Browns, how they have managed with their offense, how well that they have with such an up and down quarterback issue, right? Who their quarterback is now, what, season-ending surgery?
Yep.
Yeah. So this matchup is a little bit interesting to me because the Steelers keep managing to eke out wins when they definitely should not be. Kenny Pickett is playing horrendously. I think in the last like 6 games, he's got maybe 2 touchdowns. But the matchup is pretty interesting. So the Cleveland Browns are one of the best defenses in the league, if not at number 1 in pass defense, which is serious trouble for Kenny Pickett. And they are number 7 run defense. So the Steelers' run game is really the only semi-reliable thing that they've got going on offense, and they're not going to be able to rely on that because the Cleveland Browns defense is pretty good. The Cleveland Browns is generally giving up around 19 points per game, and the Steelers are struggling to score 18 points per game. So I am picking the Cleveland Browns in this, even though they will be playing with a backup quarterback. I have full confidence that this will be a good matchup. This will be a very physical game, hard hitting, fun rivalry game, and I think that they're going to take it by 7.
I am going to disagree with Hail Mary Magdalene down there. I'm picking the Steelers, and I know that goes against everything that I said last week, that I will not pick a game that the Steelers will play with Kenny Pickett at quarterback, because he is essentially a backup quarterback. So we essentially have a battle of the backups this week. So what sticks out to me in this game? As Jess alluded to, the Steelers' run game has been improving because I think they're listening to our videos and they're using Jalen Warren and Najee Harris as more of a 2-headed back attack instead of Najee Harris getting the bulk carries and Jalen Warren getting a series here and there. The Browns are obviously without Deshaun Watson for the remainder of this season, and their backup quarterback play has not been great, even though when they were starting PJ Walker, they did beat some teams that they shouldn't have, but wasn't because he was throwing 350 yards and 7 touchdowns. So, another thing, Steelers, Pat Freiermuth, the tight end, who's really good, could come back this week. So I think that's going to give Kenny Pickett another target in the short yardage game. So to where that pass defense may be really good on the corners, I don't think arguably is that good over the middle. So I'm going to Steelers in this one. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. I think this is going to be very reminiscent of an late 90s, early 2000s AFC North matchup, to where it's hard hitting, a lot of ground and pound, maybe 15, 20 passes per quarterback. I don't think it's going to be great. I see whatever team wins this game, it's going to be by field goal, but I'm picking the Steelers.
The choice is mine. Which one of my co-hosts do I agree with? Which holy roller is the right one? The answer is AI. The Browns are going to go with robots. That's the backup quarterback. That's how they're going to win. Going to blow all the stats away. So robot. We got the Fox spot. CBS bought the rights. Here we go. We're going to throw that football down the field. They're going to win. I'm going with Cleveland.
What do you have in this game there, Mr. Insider?
Well, those 2 are tied. Yeah. But Tarek's thing, robots.
You got Cleveland or Pittsburgh?
Is it
Cleveland or Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh?
He has Pittsburgh picked. And you know what? I agree with him. I'm not confident in this game. This is one of the games that's because the backup quarterback is in for Cleveland, it makes it a bit more palatable for the Steelers. They did beat them early in the season.
But
Even with that good defense, they actually just ran them out of the stadium. I think it was like 26 to like 10 or something like that. It was ridiculous. I'm sorry, 26-22. So it was closer than I thought it was. But they still won. Yeah.
You guys are kind of arguing my point though by saying
so
think it
they're
is
tied. He's
Because-
right.
Let him go, Jess. I copied you. You always win. That means I
well-
rise up in the ranks. So
Yeah, they'll
Can
fall.
you please stop ignoring Jessica and Tim?
just copy and paste Jess picks onto mine. Then I'll rise up.
I think the puppets have something they want to say about this game. About the game, right? Okay, go ahead.
So they have it tied for the game.
Yeah, you got that.
I'm agree with him.
Okay.
Was that it? Okay. He's right. They are tied currently in the standings. I think this is going to be a bit more demoralizing for Cleveland, even at home. This is going to be an ugly game, and I got Steelers coming out with it. And to be honest, I think because the quarterback is missing, the Steelers end up winning this and getting to 9 wins on the season, preventing Mike Tomlin from having his first losing season as a coach.
Can I go to the game? So our boss picked the Brownies versus the Ravens. Yeah, I'm agree.
Well, what's your game of the week there, Haas? Do you remember?
It's a Baltimore versus Cincinnati. So I picked Baltimore. I'm agree with him. Yeah, me too.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Jessica. I picked this person. Maybe I'm picking this person.
Uh,
Who knows? What's going on?
I'm sorry,
That's
where am I in the
going,
rankings?
guys?
You're the left puppet.
No, I'll
Excuse
agree
me,
with Sammy. I
Derek?
I am picking Baltimore. As we kind of went over last week, Baltimore is their worst enemy. They play 3/4 of football and then decide to fold it in the fourth quarter. Cincinnati's got some injuries to T. Higgins, to Sam Hubbard, to a couple of their defensive stars, as well as the Ravens do. But I think on paper, we don't all know how on paper looks. The Ravens have a deeper team. So to keep this short and sweet, I am picking the Ravens, but I'm not overly confident this is going to be one of those games that anyone feels good at coming out of, because it's going to be one of those, again, 27-24 last second field goal games.
I think more like 29, 24, 31,
What
maybe
do you
29.
think?
But I agree, it's going to be a very close game. And with the Bengals looking a little rough on defense, plus having those offensive injuries, definitely taking the Ravens. I think they bounce back this week.
Are you going?
I'm going with the Ravens, and I'm using Sammy's argument because they're birds. The birds are going to win. The Ravens.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because they're birds.
They are birds.
Well,
Meow?
we are going to the vacation. Do you want to go? Oh yeah,
Going on
sure.
vacation?
Yeah.
Okay. Those birds are flying south for the winter. I went the other way on this one because Marlon Humphrey is out.
I want
Jamar
everything.
Chase
Make it
is
Duh.
going to be there this week. Jamar Chase is going to be there this week. It's going to be a harder game for the Ravens. They lost a heartbreaker last week. They're going to have a bit more pep, but I think the Bengals are also going to have a bit more pep considering they lost to the Texans last week. I got the Bengals coming in here on a short week, getting the victory by a field goal at the end of the game. Cincinnati Bengals. I don't like saying it, but I think they're going to win this one. All right, let's get to our last game of the week. And I believe it's my other host,
I get a game? Yay.
You get a game.
All right, so I have 2 minutes to go through this, according to Jess, to get through done by 9:15. So I have the Monday night game, arguably two of the better teams in the league, the Chiefs and the Eagles. Sam, you gotta hit the button. There we go. So contrary to my previous point, I'm not going with the birds. The birds are gonna lose. I'm going with the Chiefs because they're not birds. Indians hunt the birds. The Eagles are going extinct. We're going with the Chiefs. Kansas City.
So I mean, Brady and I talked at length about this earlier, and I'm totally blanking on most of it. I do know that the Eagles are coming off of several wins. I think they were a little bit banged up, if I remember. But the Chiefs defense has been looking a lot better. Ranking, I think, like 7th or something overall, or 8th. And their offense has actually been improving lately as well. It's at Arrowhead Stadium. I think the Chiefs defense being better than the Philadelphia Eagles offense lately, or at least will slow them down, is going to be a problem. And I do think it's going to be a really good game, like a shootout for sure. And I'm excited to watch this one. I am taking the Chiefs.
I got to disagree. I'm going with the Eagles on this one. As Jess alluded to, the Eagles are a little banged up. Before heading to their bye week, they were down their top 3 corners, and they lost their starting tight end, Dallas Goedert, much to my chagrin in my fantasy football league. That they're essentially down to bare bones at tight end because no one can name the backup of the Philadelphia Eagles at tight end. But they arguably have the best offense in the league right now with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and then their running back trio of DeAndre Swift, Gainwell, and Scott. But as Jess said, this is an Arrowhead Stadium. So no matter who wins this game, I think is going to be in first place in their conference, no matter what. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a shootout. But I think because Philly has a more reliable run game, that's what's going to seal this game.
Who do you have in this one there, my little insider?
We picked the Seagulls. Me too.
He picked the Eagles.
Me too.
You picked the Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will have everything. Make it too.
I, on the other hand, I'm going with Kansas City at home. Andy Reid going against his former team. I know it's been a while since he's been there. He's really good against the Eagles. I got Kansas City winning this one by more than a touchdown. They may blow them out a little bit just because the Eagles have kept every game close. They haven't blown anybody out, and I think Kansas City is going to take advantage of that. So
keep in mind that the Chiefs have been only allowing like 16 points per game. And obviously I think it's going to be higher than that. I don't think it's going to be low, but
I would agree with that. All right. Now let's get to our pop panel pick'ems.
Brought to you by Book Compass
Concept Incorporated.
Concept Incorporated.
Where they are more than just a sign shop. They are up in Westminster. Check them out for all your decal needs and sign needs, of course. So we take a look at this. I'm the only one that picked the Bengals. And
with the Steelers.
Yeah, not with the Steelers. I think I got to catch up a little bit. This might be the 2 games I need to catch up and pass Jessica.
It won't.
It won't happen. Even though I'm against you on one of the picks, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like we've said, she's got her finger on the pulse of the NFL universe.
Don't jinx me.
I've said it like 3 weeks in a row. It hasn't jinxed you yet. You're fine.
Jinx, 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 jinx.
And then, of course, let's get to the next set where we only have one differing opinion because he does not like picking the Cowboys.
Yeah, again, it's hard. I mean, But like just to touch on one of these games, the Dolphins haven't won a game against a team with a winning record in like a bazillion years, and the Raiders are what 5-5 now, but 2-0 under the head coach. So where do they fall in that spectrum? So
I'd say for me, the Dallas game actually worries me a little bit more than I would think that it would, just because Dallas just blew the Giants out, and they tend to play pretty poorly after they win, especially if they win really well. So
and Dak plays like garbage against garbage defenses. So
so
Let's see. All right, the next set. Only one person picked the Cardinals.
It's me.
I flip flopped on that one, to be completely honest with you.
I did too.
me too, just because of Connor.
Mm-hmm. Connor, they just got Michael Carter off waivers. I don't even know if it's called waivers in the NFL. From the Jets, Michael Carter, the running back. So their running back room just got better. Kyler Murray's getting more reps with the offense. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. And then the final games, I'm the only one to pick. I
No.
had that wrong. I had it wrong.
I picked the Chiefs.
Not much disparity this week, folks.
Three
Sorry.
of us picked the Chiefs. However, I did notice one thing. Tarek and Jessica have all of the exact same picks.
Now we know,
Derek's cheating.
Derek.
Who's going to change it? Who's going to pick the wrong thing?
Probably me.
It's not us.
I'm going to pick the wrong thing.
Me and Tarek have
Yep,
picked great
it
picks
is
this week.
Taylor.
The first compliment Jess has ever given me. I'm taking it.
Wrap it up. End the video now.
End the
We
video
can't get better
now.
than that.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please click like, click subscribe so you know when our next videos come out. Leave a comment. Let us know anything you want to know.
Behold,
Like Brady's mom and how much he needs to cut his hair.
Is this the kindergarten?
Or how much we need to do merch.
Merch, because yeah, we totally make money on these. All 15 views. Please let us know your picks. Let us know what picks you think are wrong. And as always, I'm Tarek.
I'm Jessica.
No, you're not. You're Hail Mary Magdalene. I'm Football Jesus.
It's me with the Muppet.
And
Yeah.
I'm Sam. And you have a great football week.
I'm George, and I'm Halo.
Bye.